to be masculine. They have to be overtly heterosexual in order to be accepted. And whether they're heterosexual but submissive, or homosexual, or bisexual, or trans, none of that is acceptable. And I think it is a lot harder for guys.
Girls can get away with being tomboys. Girls you can wear guys' clothes. You can shop in the guys' department, and that's okay.
Yeah,
as a teenager.
If a guy were to do that, it's like, what's wrong with them?
It takes a lot. I mean, I do see a lot. You know, especially in the past 10 years, a lot of kids who are looking like, Jeffree Star was this kid here from Orange County. You know, the boys that are more flamboyant and they're going to have a purse and lipstick and they're getting all tatted up. But they have a community. I mean, they have their posse of friends, and I don't think they're able to get away with it in Arkansas and Kentucky. Yeah, it's that's why I always want to know about the states. With all these suicides, I was like, listening.
What state?
What state was this in? Yeah, that's serious.
What's your reaction to sort of the media reaction? Other than it, I can tell you what mine was, but I want to know what your reaction was to this. Because there was a lot of different media that sort of jumped on this. Because one, we had all the news stories, and then we had all of the celebrities doing their It Gets Better thing. And then we had celebrities who were doing, I don't remember what it was called, but the ones who were kind of backlashing and doing the fuck that.
Oh, fuck hate?
Yeah, the fuck hate thing. And that was another perspective of that. So what did you think about those different perspectives of how this was being handled sort of in the media?
I agree with what Anna said about kind of it's not too late, of course, but it should have happened earlier. I adore Dan Savage, and I'm so glad that he made the It Gets Better campaign, but I'm really sorry that it had to take this to make it happen.
Right. Because, Dan Savage has been around for a long time. He could have done this 5 years ago.
He sort of was the first, though, but I guess we've been taking it for granted. I mean, we're adults, and you would never think that a 11-year-old or 13-year-old is going to kill themselves. So I kind of wonder, has it become a copycat thing? And I don't mean to be insensitive when I say that, but are these teens hearing that now, and they're young, their brains haven't developed? Is that an out?
I think it's kind of a push for the high schools and middle schools that bullying really is an issue.
Oh, yeah.
That,
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of schools, I was bullied when I was little, but schools don't take it seriously, I feel like, and I feel like they're like, oh, the kids will get over it.
Have to deal with
exactly, and they really, it upsets them, and they take it to heart, and I feel like there should be a program in place for, middle schools and high schools everywhere that teaches tolerance, I guess. So.
I agree with having a no tolerance policy towards bullying, because for some reason we feel that it's a rite of passage. You're just gonna get bullied and then you'll go to college. Hopefully it'll stop. But that's not just queer children either. That's for
it's
anyone.
Pretty much everybody.
That's for anyone. But especially gay children, or I guess not children. Well, yes, children.
But
because they have, I think, a 4 times more likelihood that they'll commit suicide compared to other minors.
And that gets used, God, by the horrible conservative anti-gay people. That's like a statistic that, homosexual lifestyle, you're more inclined to commit suicide.
And you want to know why?
It's
not because I'm homosexual. It's because of how you're reacting to it.
But you know what I can say is, I know almost 2 months ago, Dr. Phil, which I hate to bring him up, but he is at the high point of media, if you see him on TV talking about something, at least something's reached the mainstream. He was talking about bullying a lot. And what's happened is the suicides have happened, and we're realizing a lot of the bullying had to do with being picked on. Maybe you weren't gay. Maybe people have been calling you gay.
Right, because it's used as a method of controlling
There was a few
people,
kids,
whether or not that's how they identify.
A few kids that were picked on for clothes, for lifestyle, and for their family life, and they still hadn't come out as gay. And their best friends were like, that doesn't necessarily mean he or she was gay. But they got bullied.
So then what do you think, because because both of you are in college, and to some degree, some of the work that you're doing there is to help open some of those lines of communication and to help show people how they can be more tolerant and that sort of a thing. So what do you think, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that need to happen, but in general, what do you think needs to happen in order to help middle school kids, high school kids, and then into college to sort of do that whole transition, and not just the kids who are identifying as gay or lesbian or queer or trans, but everybody else around them?
I think education is key, just educating people about everyone, not just the LGBTQ community, just that, it's okay to be different, and just, teaching people how to not necessarily agree with their lifestyle, but tolerate it and be okay with it. So.
I absolutely agree, because even in a college setting, when you talk about queer issues, or all issues, of course, people listen and they understand more. It all comes with education. And even people in my classes now, I always try to bring a queer aspect into the classroom, and people understand it more, and then they start talking about it. Whether or not they were homophobic before, or just it was their thing, they think about it more. And if we started that at a younger age, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and we're trying, but but in different states, there's the people that are saying, I don't want that lifestyle taught to my children.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
It's not going to turn them gay.
So then, what do we do? How do we argue with the concept of adults who think that they are protecting their children because they, the whole idea of like that gay marriage will get taught in the classroom. Heterosexual marriage doesn't get taught in the classroom. That's a social structure that we learn. It has nothing to do with being in school. So, it's a silly kind of an idea.
You're being logical.
I know I'm being logical, I'm sorry. But what kind of logical argument can we come up with, or illogical argument can we come up with that allows for this diversity? I don't know that you can answer it, but I'm just putting it out there as how do we combat this level of intolerance and people who are saying, oh, no, we can't talk about being tolerant to gays and lesbians and trans and queer in middle school because that might suddenly make my child that way.
Your child becomes that way. They were already that way.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like the religious right? Or
it comes from a couple of different directions. But if you want to address that, that's fine.
Oh, well, I think that the people like Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly, those kind of insane people, they're very hard to change because they are just so whatever they are. But I think it's those people those like religious people that argue we're not all like that need to prove it. They need to say, like, even if they're like not homophobic, they need to tell those people that are like crazy right-wing conservatives that, hey, we're not all like this, and there are a lot of people like that. And if they kind of said like, hey, gay is okay, or something like that, it would make a lot more people understand and become tolerant, I think.